I want to talk about something difficult today. I want to talk about the tension I see in the comments, the frustration I hear in conversations, and the exhaustion that so many of us are feeling. And it's this feeling that we're shouting past each other, right? And I hear it constantly. We all do. I have it in my comments section sometimes, and people will say, why are we still talking about the border? Why are we debating pronouns? Why are we focusing on these social wars when I can't afford a carton of eggs? Or my rent just went up $300 and nobody in Washington seems to care about that, right? And I want to start by saying, you're right. You're absolutely right to be frustrated. You're right to demand that your leaders focus on the fact that life has become unaffordable for the vast majority of people in this country. From a political standpoint, I get it. We're failing to bring people together because for a long time we stopped focusing on the things that hit everyone. We need to talk about the cost of rent. We need to talk about the price of groceries. We need to talk about the struggle to just survive. When a parent can't feed their kids, they don't want to lecture on social justice, right? They want a paycheck. They want security. And if we don't focus on those universal needs, food, housing, affordability, we're never going to be able to build a coalition big enough to change anything. But here's the trap, and I need you to really listen to this part because this is where we get played, right? There's a narrative being pushed right now, a very specific, very intentional narrative that says we have to choose. They want you to believe that the reason you're struggling is because we're focused on immigrants. They want you to think that the reason your rent is high is because we care too much about something else, about LGBTQ rights. They're selling you a lie called the zero-sum game. And this is the oldest trick in the book. If you look at history, every time the working class starts to get squeezed, the people at the top, the people actually controlling the prices and the wages, point at the most vulnerable people in the room and say, look, it's their fault. If we help them, we can't help you. It's a distraction. Let's be clear, compassion isn't a pie. We don't run out of it. Caring about a family seeking asylum at the border doesn't mean we have less capacity to care about a family in Ohio who can't pay their electric bill. Protecting a trans kid from bullying doesn't take a single dime out of your paycheck. The people telling you that we have to ignore the marginalized to save the middle class are lying to you because they don't want you to notice who's actually picking your pocket. But beyond the strategy, I want to talk about the morality because I reject the idea that we have to sell out our neighbors to save ourselves. Here's the hard truth. Addressing or fixing the price of groceries doesn't release us from our obligation to stop cruelty. We can't pretend that solving the economic struggle gives us a pass to ignore what's happening to the most vulnerable among us. We have to understand that we can do both. In fact, we must do both. Why? Because humanity trickles down. And I truly believe this. Cruelty is a habit. Compassion is a muscle. If you stop using it, it atrophies. If we allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering of immigrants, if we decide that edge issues don't matter, that lack of empathy doesn't just stay at the border. It permeates everything. It rots the foundation of the entire country. Think about the logic here. If you give a government permission to treat an immigrant child like garbage, you're giving them permission to treat any human being like garbage. You're establishing a precedent that says dignity is conditional. Once you establish that dignity is conditional, right? It's only a matter of time before the condition changes and you're the one on the outside. The same capacity for care that allows us to treat an immigrant family with dignity is the exact same capacity that allows us to care about a homeless veteran. The trolls love to say, well, why do you care about illegal aliens more than veterans? I don't. I care about human suffering. And the mindset that allows us to look at a refugee and say, I don't care if they die, is the exact same cold corporate mindset that looks at a sick American and says, I don't care if they can't afford insulin. It is the same root rot, right? We can't build a prosperous, healthy economy on a foundation that lacks heart. If we lose our humanity in the pursuit of economic stability, we'll end up with neither. We'll just be a wealthier nation of cruel people. And a cruel nation will never, ever take care of its working class. So no, I won't stop talking about the cruelty happening to immigrants. And I won't stop talking about the fact that Americans are struggling to eat. I refuse to play their game. I refuse to choose. We have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time, right? We need a politics that feeds our bodies without starving our souls. We need to demand lower prices and we need to demand human dignity. We have to see the edges while we fix the center. So the next time someone tells you we need to stop focusing on the marginalized to win the middle, tell them this: we don't trade rights for rent. We fight for both. Because if we don't, we lose everything. See you guys next time.